Many head scratchers abound. Head scratchers are questions for the Reformed, Tulip, and Calvinist kind of people. I know that the Calvinists wouldn't probably ever explain it like this. The Reformed people certainly seem to hide parts of their theology from time to time when they're in the pulpit and teaching. I know because I listened to them and I learned from them, and I never knew that at the roots of their theology and teaching were these Calvinistic, Reformed, tulip teachings. All of that now to say, right here, when I read this, I read what I've always been taught, and I'll admit presuppositions to what I believe, that free will, we hear truth, we hear stuff. Sometimes we grow up in a Christian house, sometimes we don't. People are supposed to go out and share the gospel, and sometimes people hear it and respond to it, and some people don't. That is what I've always believed is the way it works. Well, here it is. It doesn't seem like there's a decree or an election or an eternity past or some hidden counsel or some hidden desire, or I love some Jacob, I hate some Esau. I don't see any of those things. The clay in the potter's hands, I have mercy on who I want to have mercy. Now, all the things I'm saying are things that should be familiar with the Reformed teachings. But here it is. They stood where the book was being read from. By the way, we're in Nehemiah. And all of these people, these Israelites, separated themselves. And what did they do? They did what either believers do or those that are unbelievers do, so that they can start to attain the relationship with Jesus that he offers and he promised. They start to confess their sins, and they were feeling remorseful and guilty enough that they said, you know what, man, our people have really shafted God or not followed God. And if you read all of Nehemiah 9, you'll see that. So they even bring their ancestors into it. Then they confess, they worship, and they do it like all day. That seems like reverent. That seems like people that want to come back to the winning side. Okay. Now, they stand up and they praise. How do we know that they're becoming believers or they believe? Well, because of some of the clues they give us, everlasting to everlasting. So right now, the Calvinist or Reformed people might be saying, well, see, these are already believers. True. Agreed. How did they get there? How do we know that they were elect? Where's the new heart? Where's the transplant? Where's the regeneration? Where's their confession of faith? Where's their new heart where they come along and say, man, I believe now. Now I'm interested in learning all these things from the Torah and the law. Well, we just don't see it. Do we have to see it in every story? No, not at all. But here they exalt above the blessing and praise. You alone, Lord. Here's more proof that they're starting to believe. Here they are quoting truths that already exist in the Torah, in the scrolls. Okay, you are the God. Now, again, I talked too long. I got too many questions. I got too many confusions. Let's just see if we can come up with one more good one for this short video. Notice it says God chose right here, Nehemiah 9:7. It's amazing that when it says God chose, it doesn't say God chose to elect and regenerate Abram or Abraham. God chose to save Abraham and make him a special, person, special Christian that's going to be the father of many nations. It doesn't say any of that. As a matter of fact, it seems to say that the reason Abraham was chose was because of a heart he already had. Again, you can go back to Abraham and look for the evidence that you need, Reformed Calvinist people, and try to show me a spot where, right here, see, God, he regenerated him and changed Abraham here, but you won't find it. Start in Genesis 12 when Abraham is introduced. Start in Genesis 11 when we find out the bloodline of Abraham. his family and where he lives and how he's different than the people that he lives next to. And God doesn't go to the ones that are worshiping idols. God goes to Abraham and says, hey, leave this place. Doesn't say he regenerated him. Also, it says if you leave, God says, if you leave this place, I will give you great things. And Abraham leaves. Where's the regeneration there? Well, let's go to Nehemiah. We have the same thing being recorded as evidence. And this particular chose or election, again, has nothing to do with, at least as I can see it, has nothing to do with regeneration or a new heart or tulip theology, irresistible grace, irresistible means. You're the Lord God who chose Abraham and brought him out of Ur. And he became Abraham. You found his heart faithful. Wait a second. You, God, the perfect Lord who knows men's hearts, you found his heart faithful. You didn't make it faithful. You found it to be faithful. And you chose, because you can choose whatever you want to do, to make a covenant with him and to give his descendants the land. And you keep your promises, and you are righteous. Righteous. We could make a whole nother 6-minute video out of that. Okay, so there. God shows Abraham, here it is, again, and now go to Acts 7. Go to Hebrews 11, and you see the same story being told over and over, and you never read about irresistible change, Spirit diving in and making new hearts. How do you guys reconcile these things? I know this is only one story, but I'll find more. They keep popping out at me at a frantic rate. Check this out. You'll love this. I'll finish with this. I can't keep up. That's the last 4 weeks of church service between studies. I can't stop coming up with head scratchers. Head scratchers abound.